Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Jennifer from Arizona wants to know if the dead sleep or eat. I really don't know because I haven't been dead. But I am told by Spirit that whatever our love is on this side of the veil, we will have on the other side of the veil. And I'll just refer back to an experience that I personally had. When my mother-in-law was passing, she died when she was 90, and her own mother passed when my mother-in-law was 5 years old when her mother passed. So it had been many, many years since she had seen her mother. And she had, her father raised the children. It was her, another sister, and two brothers. And my mother-in-law, even though she was only 5 years old and the youngest, seemed to be the one who helped the father and learned how to cook at a very early age and helped him with the chores in the house. And she remained that way right up until she took her final breath. She was just a very loving, giving person. She was my mother-in-law, and I loved her deeply, but sometimes she was a little too much helpful. And anybody who has a mother-in-law can relate to that. And I'm a mother-in-law, so I have to be careful and watch my words and really practice what I preach. But anyway, to get back to my mother-in-law, she was a beautiful, loving soul. And as she lay dying, a few days before she died, she started to see the energies as they pulled in. And at one point, she was sitting there and she was eating, and she was really in a very good place. She had some medication to help her get through some of the pain of the disease that was taking her body. But she looked up from eating, and we had been having a very nice conversation. And all of a sudden, she looked up and she said, "Mama." And she was looking in the distance. She said, "Oh, it's so good to see you again." And she began having this very lovely conversation with her mother. Now, I could feel the energies around her, but at that point in time, I honestly did not see who she was seeing, but I could feel that energies were there. And she said, "Oh my goodness, they're all stepping in." And she started naming all these people, names that I had heard through the years and names that I hadn't heard since I became her daughter-in-law. And then she said, "There's a long table." She said, "You should see it, Glory." She always called me Glory. She said, "You should see it, Glory. There's a long table filled with all my favorite foods, and oh, I can't wait to taste them all again." And a few days after that, she lapsed into a coma and died shortly after. So I always remember that, and I always think about that, because I truly believe that she saw all those people pulling in, and I believe that she saw that table filled with all her favorite foods. You know, I have a lot of food allergies myself. I'm allergic to caffeine. And so I haven't had any chocolate, which has caffeine. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea. So I haven't had caffeine in well over 35 years. I'm also allergic to starch. My body doesn't handle starch well. So I haven't had spaghetti, which is my favorite meal, in about 30 years for migraine headaches. Up until a few years ago, I did eat breads and different desserts, only found out a few years ago that my body just cannot handle any starch. So I was always a migraine sufferer, and since I've given up all starch, I haven't had a migraine since, thank God. But I miss my pasta. I haven't had that in so long. So, and of course, I live on a mountaintop, and my love is to live by the ocean. I have a little place down the Jersey Shore, but I don't have my oceanfront home, which is, would be, for me, everything. So I know when I pass over, and I've often said to family and friends, when I pass over, somebody better say in my eulogy that I am sitting by my ocean and I am eating my pasta and my chocolate cake, because these are the things that I love so deeply, and I know I probably will never have on this side of the veil. But that's okay. I'm very happy. I can do without those things. I'm happy to have a little place down the Jersey Shore and be able to get in my car and drive a mile and walk the beach that I so dearly love. So, I hope that answers your question satisfactorily. And as always, I leave you in God's love and light.